It's a new year, y'all. And for me, I've never been one to do resolutions. I do solutions. And for the past almost 2 years, I've been drinking AG1 every single day, thanks to my brother, Dr. Andrew Huberman, who turned me on to this incredible product. Every day, every morning, no exceptions. Just one scoop and a glass of water. They also make packs that you can travel with. That's been very, very helpful for me as a active touring person. Having these packets with me all around the world has been really, really helpful. So if you're a musician or somebody that is always on the go, the travel packs are incredible. AG1 delivers my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, and pre and probiotics. It's very powerful, it's very healthy, and it's really simple, man. Healthy aging shouldn't feel complicated. The thought of taking multiple supplements and all these types of vitamins and stuff and powders, it's truly exhausting for me. I've never been one to take a lot of multivitamins anyway throughout my whole life. I always prided myself in just eating vegetables and eating all the stuff I need naturally, not in a pill form. So this is incredible. It covers my nutrient gaps. It supports my mental and physical health. AG1 is hassle-free, 60 seconds every morning. It's the high-quality ingredients of pre and probiotics, adaptogens and antioxidants, and whole food sourced nutrients. I drink it every single day. Every batch of AG1s goes through rigorous testing processes, and their ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrient density. If there's one product I can suggest to you guys, is the AG1s, man. This has been a life changer for me. So go to ag1.com/OLLC and you can get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. With AG1, I know I'm getting essential brain, gut, and immune health support, vitamins, probiotics, and nutrients for the day, and it's helped my mental and physical. So if there's one thing I can recommend to you guys, it's AG1s. It's my nutritional insurance. I pride myself as almost being 54 years old, not going to the doctor all the time. Knock on wood. I've been healthy my whole life and try to strive to be a healthy person, stay young, stay full of energy, and still do the things I love that I did as a kid. That's why I still skateboard, play music, exercise. So start the year off right. AG1, ag1.com/OLLC. Yo, Liquid Death, thank you so much for hydrating all my guests, taking care of me and my family and my friends. Love your water, love your brand, love what you stand for, love what you give back to the community. If you want to learn more about Liquid Death and how it started, listen to episode 115 with the co-founder, owner, and creator of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario. Just a punk rock skateboarding kid from Delaware with a dream. It's an incredible story, incredible journey. So if you go liquiddeath.com/Toby, you get free shipping on any items you order from liquiddeath.com. If you want to just get Liquid Death water, go to amazon.com. But for the merchandise and other cool items, exclusive items, go to liquiddeath.com/Toby and get free shipping. Thank you so much, Liquid Death. Death to plastic, murder your thirst. Stay hydrated. You know H2O saves lives. All right, welcome to the One Life, One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. Today, I have a very, very special guest in my house. My man, my brother, Mr. Seth Goon Abrams in the house. How are you, Seth?
I am swell. Happy to be out on the left coast.
Yeah, we've been talking about having you on here for a long, long time, man. And we've known each other for a long time. I was trying to think today, like when we first met. I want to say it was at either one of the shows you played on. It was the Summer Nationals, where you were outside working for Wu-Tang with Wu-Tang Forever posters, or It was somewhere else. When was it? Do you remember?
I think it had to be around 1997. So we're going on a quarter century of knowing each other. I'm pretty sure it was, it had to be Tramps at Coney Island High, New York show.
Yeah. And tell me about what you were doing back then, the Goon reign, street team.
So I always grew up loving everything, punk rock, metal, hardcore, hip hop. When I was 19, I got a internship working at Loud Records, which was at the time the biggest hip hop label,
the Mecca.
One of Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, Dead Prez, Alcoholics. And I started to work there, and when I originally thought I should be doing radio or something like that, but I was like, okay. The minute I got thrown in, I started as an intern, and I saw there was something called street promotions, which everybody does, which you hand out. When music wasn't just digital, you'd hand out a cassette or a CD sampler or a sticker or a pin or something of a group, and they're doing hip hop. I'm like, yes, you're preaching to the converted, but why is somebody not over at Hammerstein Ballroom or at Coney Island High punk show or metal show because those kids can go back to the suburbs or in the city, wherever they may live, and love the same stuff as well.
Totally.
So I was like, let me do that and cross promote. And then Loud had this company that they would go, because we know how hip hop continues to be the biggest tastemakers and turned on. So Steve Rifkin, what's up, Steve? He patented the name Street Team, Street Promotions, and they would get hired by companies to promote their product in that marketplace. So I was like, well, you should be doing that. The same thing if you're going to be promoting a Nietzsche Jeans or an HBO show that's more urban oriented. Why are you not doing the same thing but for suburban white kids?
Yeah.
So we took it over, and it was fun. And I got to do it. I got to work with favorite groups. And then from there, I started my own side company because there's, so many groups and products that fall through the wayside that weren't as big as that, but could still do it on another level. So promotions were born there.
Were you like independent company, your own thing you started?
On the side, I was still working for SRC, and I would do my own side projects because something, if it wasn't big enough, you still have people in place nationally, locally, in the city, in different cities, and I was sent on tour. So
you went on tour with the Alcoholics, 50 Cent?
Exactly. So my first tour, in hip-hop and anything entertainment, as we know, you always have to pay your dues, be an intern, or like a band starting on the third opener, and then you end up being headlining. You have to pay your dues. It's
totally
everything. And when I was started at Loud, I wasn't even an employee yet. I was going to college in Boston for one semester, come back and work at the label at Loud, and then go back to school. And the summer I was here, the winter I was here, it was February 1998, they had this great tour. It was called the Snowcore Tour. And it used to go, you remember, you guys played some in Canada. The Snowcore Tour would hit all the snowboard and ski resorts in the winter. And they're like, oh, we got Loud have this group. Hey, J-Ro, it's for you, called the Alcoholics. And it was like really a frat boy thing, like drink beer, hang out.
Yeah.
LA group.
Make room.
Exactly.
Room. Yeah.
And
only when I'm drunk.
True. And the Licks are on the tour. It was Primus headlining.
Damn.
The Aquabats were the first group, and that's when
Travis
was in the band, and your now tour manager, Tim Millhouse, was with him as his tech, and every night.
Facts.
So it would be the Licks.
Shout out to Millhouse. He's listening right now.
Tim, good to see you, bud. Let's come to the Loud office. I'll meet you on 32nd Street. You remember the Romper Room. So every night, Travis would come with his drum pad, and Tim would be there because the Aquabats would go on, and then the Licks, or maybe the Licks, then the Aquabats. I think it was Aquabats, then the Licks. And then he'd come with his drum pad, and then it was then it was Blink, and then it was Primus headlining.
Wow.
So
Travis was in Aquabats opening for Blink at that time?
Yep.
Wow.
And their drummer, I guess, left right after that tour, and it was like...
The rest is history.
So that was amazing for me to see that and see things unfold. And that was fun. I would tour, and I would recruit kids from tour to work in promotions.
In each city.
Let me backtrack before that, because that was not my first tour. The summer before it, I was still an intern.
Anger management?
Oh, that comes later.
Okay,
The summer before was in 1997, Rage Against the Machine and Wu-Tang were touring together. But when Rage only played when they would do a day off because they didn't want to play as frequent, Wu would hit another city, or I think it was more like when the tour was over, they picked up some own dates.
Totally.
So now I'm 1920, I'm on tour, Wu-Tang Clan. I'm like, this is crazy.
Were you on the bus with them, or was it a crew bus or something?
I was following them in a van with all the promoter guys. And I would go while they're setting up the show. I'd be like, we're in this market. I'm going to a skate shop. I'm going to go to the Rock Bar. I'm like, who do you think goes to this stuff? So I was building a team.
So cool. Was that Wu-Tang Forever album?
That was a Wu-Tang Forever album.
Okay.
So I saw some amazing shows. And then I went back to 1/4 to go to college in Boston, work in a major in music business. And then after that, I finally left in that full time. And that's when I went on the Alcoholics tour with Primus. And right after that, I had a boss. OJ Redlaw, what the fuck is up? So OJ was head of promotions at Loud, and he left to go to Priority. And when he went to Priority, they were just gearing up for Ice Cube, Korn, Rammstein. And they're like, we need to promote on that. He's like, I got the guy for you.
Wow.
And then it was that, or I should backtrack. Before that, I'm really, mind you, when we get to the nitty gritty of a brain injury, I go all over the place. And you have your own ADD stuff. So a couple quarters before, I should backtrack, somewhere before that, after, even before Family Values, like I was saying, the lab would get hired. They were promoting a record. They got hired to do street promotions to Beastie Boys' Hello Nasty.
Wow.
And
Jesus.
I got sent on that. That was cool. And so you see, not that is a group, if ever a group that never needed street promotions.
Yeah.
That would be one, but they didn't want to cross their T's and dot their I's.
Yeah.
Capital. So they're like, we'll go to Steve Rifkin. He does it. And they're okay, white boy, you're out. So at a young age, I got to see a lot and be on the road and learn the music business when it was fun.
Yeah, did you work the Mobb Deep record?
Yeah, well, Mobb Deep's.
Wow.
So at the time, I had Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, Funkmaster Flex, the Alcoholics, and my personal favorite, and props to them, and then that kind of segued to some other things. For all of you conscious hip-hop heads that may not, or might be young and may not know, Dead Prez, one of the greatest groups ever. Militant, before Militant.
Vegan.
Talking
animal rights.
on Exercise, and they're back. And to me, that was the greatest thing, because I saw them from soup to nuts, and I got to work with them in another capacity. I got them a couple of dates opening up for Fishbone in New York at Tramps.
That's cool.
I got them on a couple of suicidal dates. I was like, these guys, and you remember...
Dead Prez and Suicidal?
That was unbelievable.
Wow.
And then it was like, what was great about that is, you remember when you would, years ago, before the whole vape thing, not that you ever did it, but people smoking in venues and lighters. Well, Tramps, Dead Prez, I'll remember this opening up for Fishbone. They had Stickman, the other Stickman.
Yeah.
And M1 and Dead Prez.
Not Fury 5.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Had everybody up there. Everyone, take out your lighter, take out your $1, $20, $50, $100 bills, and light it on fire. And I was like, this is crazy.
Wow.
At Tramps.
People were doing it?
Yeah, somewhere. It was pretty cool. It was crazy. And they were opening up for Bone. And I was like, oh, that's the future.
Wow. That's at Tramps?
I was at Tramps.
So, did you officially start, when did you start riding on the buses with the groups? Did that happen a little bit?
The Alcoholics tour was my first time.
Were you doing like hype man shit for them too, or no? Just
I come out with a picket sign. I dance
that's
around.
That's what Tim House wanted me to ask you about. Yeah.
Yeah, I would come out and dance around, and
awesome.
I got really close with those guys. What's up, J-Ro? How's Daddyhood treating you?
That's cool, man.
And that was a lot of fun, because that was the Liquor Crew and a lot of LA stuff going on with that. So that was a other thing, to be in like the Midwest and being Canada, a ski resort, and now it's the licks, and you're bringing the West Coast angle to it. Yeah. And then after that, then I was on tour at Ice Cube, so I got to,
Which album was that promoted? Was it Predator? What album was you working on or promoting at that time? You remember?
It was 98.
Injection.
Oh,
Predator,
it was there wasn't Death Certificate.
It's one of those three.
Yep.
Incredible albums too, man.
And that was unbelievable. And what was cool about that, and this is why everybody, whatever angle, when you're coming up in the band, a young kid, I was like, I need a team with me. They're like, put a team together. So there was a local group. What's up, Siege Franco, Shane Ganulis? You probably see stickers. There was a group coming up in New York underground of Jersey, Italian, Greek dudes doing hip hop called AKP, all kinds of problems.
Oh wow!
And they were promoting, and they went to hire the guy to set up that tour, my boss OJ, to do side promotions. He's like, you know what? I'm putting a kid on the road. Why don't you go and promote your stuff? And And Korn was out on tour, so
Dang.
they went on the road and they made connections. They promote Ice Cube with me and whatever side hustle stuff I can get. And then they would promote their group, and then they ended up linking and with Limp Bizkit and Korn and
crazy
and
man.
that sort of thing.
Did you work that Priority record that we were on, that Ice Cube one? We covered the song. It was like the rock one.
Here's a question about that. So Loud want to do something with all these artists, rock and metal, covering hip hop stuff, and nobody listened to me. And one thing, they listened to me, and then Priority went and did their own version, and you guys got on Priority.
Yeah.
The only thing they listened to me, because let's go back on some history.
Yeah.
And they've done great with it, and rest in peace, Prodigy.
The Mobb Deep Sick of It All thing.
Yeah,
correct?
they had stolen Sick of It All. We don't have that Dragon Forever. And Mobb Deep started to use it, and then Sick of It All said it.
We didn't know who used it for.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
But we know that it was
Okay.
Sick of It All first.
Okay.
Even though if you ask back then Prodigy or Havoc, they say, I got my brothers and Rikers who died for this.
And they all have it on their hands.
Yeah,
on
they
the
all
album
had their
cover
hands,
and the record
exactly.
layout. Yeah, yeah.
So there was beef, and they did a cease and desist. A good Jew lawyer, stop using this. And I said, you know what? Why don't you get Sick of It All covering Mobb Deep, because it's relevant and then it makes sense. And they did Survival of the Fittest.
Yeah. Were you the one that organized that meeting with Trevor from Sick of It
Yep.
All and Mobb Deep at Loud
Yep.
Records?
Yep.
Were you there or no?
I was.
Because Trevor talked about that, and the lights went out on accident and all this stuff.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Intense.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
pretty nutty. That was interesting. But the thing about that album, because Loud wanted to, they brought in a couple of consultants, and they were doing it organic. They brought in like people in a lot of like new metal stuff was coming in. I was like, you need to deal with stuff that is underground, organic in a loud way. That's why I brought you guys' name up and groups like that. And I finally saw justice with the Sick of It All song, and the only other song that they gave me, because they brought a consultant in, that they let me do was Shooty's Groove covering Caribbean Connection from Big Pun.
Wow.
Because they're Puerto Rican. I was like, both from the Bronx. I'm like, this is what you need to do. And I was lucky I got 2 groups out of that.
Yeah, you worked the Big Pun record too, right?
Yep. That was a lot of fun. That was pretty.
I got stickers you gave me from back then, those big stickers.
Yeah, the big yellow.
I also have an original Mobb Deep Loud Records one you gave me. It's the big circle with the dragon in it. It's probably collectible. I got a bunch of stickers you gave me from back then. So crazy, man. You did so much back then, but in the hip hop world, you know.
It was fun.
Well, you went to hardcore before?
Always.
Before that, right?
I was always into everything, and I grew up with brothers like typical of their age, guys of a certain age, and it always was like, but I always loved metal. I loved hip hop in the 80s, early 90s as a kid. And my brothers were more like, okay, Rolling Stones, The Who, Bruce Springsteen. But here's the thing with that. They're much older than me. So growing up, my brother would be like, if you want to go to something that take you to, you got to go to something with us. And my parents would go away. And I remember I was 5, maybe 6 at the old Shea Stadium in Queens.
Yeah.
And The Who played, and who was opening up? The Clash. So I got to see The Clash open up for The Who, and I was blown away.
You're like 5 years old?
I was 5 years old.
What? That's crazy.
I was like, this is unbelievable. But
damn. And that was kind of like your opening to like punk rock and stuff.
100%. Or then like 3 years later, the Stones were playing in Jersey, either Giant Stadium or Meadowlands, and opening up because Mick Jagger produced the album Living Color.
Wow.
And from that, I mean, it was 89, but I was only, wasn't 12 yet. From that's where I got addicted to Bad Brains and Fishbone, because I saw Living Color open up for the Stones.
Yeah.
And it was craziness.
Yeah.
But my brothers were like, okay, because this was the advent of MTV. I watched Headbangers Ball. Oh, you want to go see Anthrax at Halloween at Fell Forum? You better go with me to see The Who, or go see Bruce Springsteen. Oh, you want to go see Metallica? You got to go to this. We'll take you. So I was getting it at all ends, which was great to have an affinity, to have that exposure to it.
Do you remember like your first hardcore show you went to?
I went to Harry Abrams. You can correct me on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Suicidal at the Ritz. I want to say Leeway opening. I was only 12. Yeah, I think that was my first.
It's awesome.
Which was really cool. And then I had gone. The other thing on that angle, I had spent when I originally wanted to work in the music business. I went before I got abducted from Loud. I went to college in Boston, and this is a little later, 95, 96, and the scene was really booming then. Obviously, Boston's had really cultivated it, but I got to see early drop kicks and all that sort of thing, and the Bruisers, and then coming out, because I like eclectic stuff, coming out a little north up in New Hampshire and Vermont, I got to see the Mighty Scissor fight.
I hadn't even heard that band. Wow.
Like real crazy. So
what kind of music was that?
Like one way to describe it would be like stoner metal to the out in the woods going crazy and music, hunting an antelope and playing stoner metal.
Okay.
If you're out hunting an antelope and you start listening to Neurosis and you get high and that sort of thing. And it was great. So I got to see scenes and then having traveled, having been on 3 music tours before 21 was great with Loud.
Yeah, that's a lot of seeing the world at a young age.
Like I had done that Licks tour, I had done Wu-Tang, I had done Family Values. I wasn't 21 yet. And then one other thing, back to the Nasty Little Man thing and sick of it all, I got to go in the summer right before 21. We got hired to do promotions, Beastie Boys, Hello Nasty. So I got to go on that tour, see the Roots playing with Beastie Boys every night. It was...
What about, you were telling some funny stories I remember a while ago about being on the bus on the anger management tour, 50 Cent's bodyguards or his crew, or like you kind of got picked on one of those buses you were riding on. You were like the new guy.
I was. That was later.
Was 50 cool? You remember meeting him?
Oh, he was really cool. That was a few years later, 6 or 7 years later, and that was anger management. That was Licks. That was Busta. That was 50 Cent. That was not Licks. That was Eminem. And that was the other thing. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. We haven't got to the healing stuff yet.
It's all good.
But 1998, right as Eminem got signed, Marshall, whatever some people call him, however you want to call him, he got signed to Interscope. They started with the stickers, the Hello, My Name Is stickers. Yeah. And he did, there used to be this magazine you remember because you guys played, H-Roll played one of the shows, Fridge.
Yeah, Fridge, yeah.
And Fridge would do these Brooklyn, Vermonts. They'd do like a snow resort, and like the Friday would be the hardcore band. It was like, I think Murray Zaw played, maybe.
I thought we played. I this where we played with Cypress Hill.
Yeah, you play one. You play similar.
Okay.
But they would do that, and then the weekend would be hip hop, and it was Black Star, and then it was Eminem.
Wow.
Eminem opening up for Black Star. Most until Tali Quali. It was.
You saw that show?
Yeah, I was there. I was working, putting posters and stuff up. It was. Everything was different. New York was different.
Yeah.
Everybody was open-minded. I mean, you grow up knowing everything, being into everything.
Didn't you do something crazy at a truck stop? You told a story about being on the bus, anger management, but you felt like you were getting some like kind of picked on the bus, and then you did something at the truck stop or something crazy, and so everybody like stay away from that dude.
Probably, yeah. I did something. I think I ate like. You know, when you go to truck stops, you go to truck stops in part of the country, and what we eat, there's different local and regional delicacies. There was something like a pickled bug or something. And I was like, you know what? No one's going to fuck with me and take food from my bunk if I do this. And I ate it, and it's okay, crazy white boy. And that was like, okay.
And that was it?
That was it.
Wow. Fuck. So you did that for most of your life, the Goon Rain stuff, and then...
Right.
What was after the music stuff for you, and how did that kind of end for you, the music stuff?
So I had made a mistake, as we all do. At that time, a lot of places were starting with the digital music, online radio, and I took 2 different jobs doing promotions for places that went under with one of them being a pyramid scheme, and the other one just didn't make it. And they were like, oh, we need a promotion guy. And a group's manager, of course, was like, I know a guy that can do it. And it was similar stuff, but, you know, you're young, dumb, full of cum, and the carrot gets dangled, and you don't know. And when I took these jobs, and then it was like, okay, I have a different insight into things after that. They didn't make it, and then I was trying to work at labels again, and the landscape of music and the industry changed. Besides live music, everything started to change.
Yeah, big time. Once we got rid of the CDs too and all that stuff, the digital, the downloads, and the Napster,
it was crazy,
and all that.
Exactly.
So, and then you started we started running back then too. Like, you've always been like a healthy, athletic person.
I was very fit.
Very fit.
I went to the gym. I worked out. Took really good care of myself. My diet, didn't drink that much. Fish, greens, a little meat, but
I remember staying you, watching you cook and stuff. Yeah, yeah. Always running, always like healthy person.
Very, very, very fit. You took care of yourself. I would splurge. I wasn't anti anything. I wouldn't preach. I always like holidays. So if you're gonna be out for someone's birthday or something monumental, you could eat something. You could have a couple drinks. It's all right. Everything in moderation. I was also in my 20s, so I was fit, and then ultimately 30s. But yeah, I was always pretty healthy and if I went on the road, that was the other thing with the Warped Tours.
Oh yeah.
If I went on the road, I'd always I'd make sure there were weights, like whether you're in a hotel and there's a gym. But I remember in the Warped Tour when I got allowed to pay the Anti-Racist Action Group to help pay ARA to help pay a little money for their expenses on the road, a good cause. I'd go on the road. I'd help ARA do everything. Right. I help ARA hand out things, anti-racism, all that.
We did the compilation.
Right. I remember that. That was great. Great Dead Kennedy cover.
Thank you.
And then I did that, and I would then promote Loud stuff and whatever groups we were getting hired to do on top of it. And I always we would have a semi that obviously buses had their own trailer and the tours had their own semis, but we would have a trailer with all the ARA merch, patches, pins, pamphlets, whatnot, and I would put weights in there. And then the Warped Tour, everybody was using it, and we would take it off every day. And then eventually it got put on a semi, and everybody would use it. I mean, everyone used it. I think you guys did. I know Rusty Adam. I remember Mike Ness used it. Mike Dirt of Green Day would be over there. Everyone would use it, and you would think someone else would brought it, but it was ours. It was communal. It was great. Cool, man. It was like, you got to work with what you got. You're out in the elements. You're sweating anyway.
Yeah. And nobody's really doing stuff like that back then, working out on the Warped Tour.
Not really. There were some people
like partying, just playing shows, not really caring. It's like a vacation for them. So let's get to where life changed for you, and where were you at in that time,
right?
Mentally and physically before everything happened for you. Like, where were you working? Like, where were you? Like, how old were you? Because how old are you now, actually?
I recently turned 45.
Okay.
I was 34. I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, for sure.
At that point.
Yeah. And so, where were you working at that time? What was your life like at that time?
I was living in Manhattan. I was working freelance for music stuff.
Still, yeah.
Doing freelance promotions here and there. Doing some acting stuff on the side.
Yeah, you were acting. Let's get to the acting. Right. I remember acting and the modeling and all that stuff. Like, let's talk about some of the acting stuff and some of the stuff you got. Because I remember that too. Like, you were really focusing on that for a while, man. Grinding on that.
Right, trying.
And did you get some good gigs when you were doing that?
I did. I was still young enough and physically in the right place to do it. But I felt like I had a little more knowledge. Yeah. But I was still working in the music business, and especially
doing
tours.
Auditions and stuff. Yeah.
I was still doing a little of each. And yeah, I was 34 and I took care of myself and everything was. And all I could say is that music, but I think I know where we're going, is not to jump ahead, but all I want to say is when you think of where I was eventually going to go, when you think of people getting sick or in a hospital or in a place, in my mind, I always thought of the old movie with Jack Nicholson, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and you hear like music, like elevator music, like soft, serene, but it's really not, because as we get older and people are our cohort, our age, going through certain things, you always go back, and actually Adam Blake had brought this up. I spoke to him before. You always go back to your formative years of music of your youth, what you did when you were a scared kid, a sad kid, angry kid. Like, all those things are going to come back now. It was there for you as a little kid. In adulthood, you have challenges going to come to you then.
Yeah, 100%. And so let's go to the day where that happened. And I think you were on a run or something, or...
I was, and actually the night before...
No health issues leading up to any of this stuff.
I had no health issues ever, really. Never.
Yeah, you were so healthy, man.
I was fit, no health issues. My dad's dad had died young from cancer, and my folks had the typical get older, some health stuff, but everybody, there was nothing going on. And if I remember correctly, it had just turned 2012, and a couple of days before that, I remember Tal made a dinner in New York, and had at his family's apartment, at his apartment.
That's right.
And had met me through you guys. And it was him, John Joseph, and I was invited, maybe a couple other people. Something healthy, veggie, vegan, unbelievable meal. A couple of days later, I started to feel short of breath, not like something different, weird. I tried to go for a run. It was New Year's Day, it was a Sunday, so everything was closed on the Monday.
Yeah, you run a lot. Like, how many miles per day usually?
I was running
10 miles a day,
50 to 100 miles a week, and hitting the gym. I would hit the gym, lift, run about 50 to 100 miles a week.
50 to 100 miles a week.
Yep.
Wow, dude.
And if I wasn't, and sometimes I do 2 runs a day. If I wasn't running, I do 2 spin classes. I wasn't really drinking much.
You were all about it, dude.
I was really, really fit, taking care of myself.
Had you done marathons too?
I had done marathons. I had done half marathons. My grandfather was an Olympic walker.
Okay.
So I had done that. I was in great shape. And all of a sudden, after that dinner, one day I felt short of breath, like something's wrong.
And we're not blaming you on the dinner, by the way.
No.
We're not blaming on the vegan dinner.
It had nothing to do with that. At all. It was odd.
Totally odd.
And here's a kicker. I went to try to take a run, and I couldn't even run 3 blocks. Something was wrong, and being a product of a neurotic Jewish mother, I knew better. You go to the doctor, you go figure it out.
Were you a hypochondriac growing up?
No.
Okay.
But you always...
Your mom was really overprotective, that kind of stuff? Where, like, not
really.
Okay.
But Jews, I love everybody. We are. It's in our DNA. You take care of stuff. You don't leave anything unknown. So something's wrong. Like, I could tell. So I go to, New York, Los Angeles has them too. The walk-in docks. The dock. So I go to walk one. I lived on 41st Street by the United Nations at the time. So I walked to one on 34th and Madison, Midtown. I go, I say, Doc, whoever's there, I said, I feel short of breath. Something's wrong. Like, this is not me. I'm pretty fit. So they do an echocardiogram, an x-ray of my heart. Negative. Everything's fine. Negative. So I go to walk home. They're like, you're okay, Mr. Abrams, go home. So I'm walking the 6 blocks. All of a sudden, I feel like something hits me in between my shoulder blades, in my back. Like, I just feel like something bursts. But for however reason, I have enough energy to hail a cab. I hail a cab. I pass out in the cab.
Wow.
As the cab is getting to my place, and where I live is right off the avenue, like a little secluded, the doormen, and me being a friendly guy, I know everybody, which really helped me. We're outside, and they're standing around. They see me come up. They open up. Oh, Seth, you all right? Yeah. You don't look so good. We're calling an ambulance. Like, I was flushed.
Yeah. White as a ghost, probably.
All the blood had gone away. I felt like I got hit by a car. Like, I felt like my back split in half, which we'll get to in a second.
It's crazy the doctor did a test on you.
It came nothing.
Fine.
Exactly.
It's so weird.
That's what was crazy.
Yeah.
They roll me, so they bring me, and you don't want to listen to anything. You always go with the oldest, the best. Bellevue Hospital, the oldest hospital in the country, still standing. They rush me there. in the ER. Something was wrong. When the paramedics got me, they took my blood pressure. Lucky for me, the head of, at the time, cardiothoracic surgery, happened to be in the ER. Just happened to be doing rounds.
Damn.
When I came in, they got to me. When I thought I got hit in the back, it was the aorta portion of my heart splitting in half. It's called aortic aneurysm. It's called aortic aneurysm in a dissection. It's killed Lucille Ball, John Ritter, Joe Strummer, a lot of people.
Wow, man.
So now they do emergency surgery. They call my family. All we could say, he's alive.
So your heart split.
The aorta portion of my heart split in half. It was something
So crazy talking about it. So I feel like I'm just like vision and like I'm seeing it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck.
something I was born with, never knew.
Wow.
It just comes undetected, even with the scans.
So people should get checkups even to see if they have something like that? No, you would never know.
You would never know.
Because you got checked right before they said you were fine.
I would say, all I gotta say is two things we take away from this. You go with your gut. If something's not right, get checked out and live life. Whatever that means to you. Is it going to a show? Is it eating something you normally don't? When you have the urge, live life because you just don't know. Things happen. And don't listen to everything the media tells you. I haven't even gotten to my COVID rant yet. But,
okay.
And so that's that. Now I'm doing everything right. I'm in the hospital. My family comes prepare for me to go home. It's about 10 days, 12 days. I'm going to go home. It should be healed. And I had to learn, like, this is crazy. One thing I learned in the hospital. Speaking about splurging and living life, they had to replace my heart. They had to replace the valve.
Okay.
So when you have a valve replacement, you're on a certain medicine, a blood thinner.
Yes.
And with certain ones, you can't
have
eat greens.
Vegetables, greens.
Anything but what's called vitamin K. So now in my life, after being healthy, I can no longer eat broccoli or spinach.
You haven't had that in 10 years?
Well, very little. Like it's like
so
this.
You
got a sandwich and you get a coleslaw, or you get a pickle, that's it. Like, so I've learned what was healthy isn't always healthy anymore. I always joke. I could eat a whole cow, drink a whole bottle of whiskey. If I have too much cream spinach, it'll kill me.
It's fucking crazy.
It is crazy. It's really nuts.
So it's been almost 10 years since you had anything
It's been over.
Wow.
It was 10 years last January.
Fuck.
January 3rd. So it happened in 2012. So now I'm ready. I'm learning that. I'm learning about the checkups. Everything's good. Night before, when my family was there, we brought me food. We're at Bellevue. Packing up. Get ready. You're going home tomorrow. Be there in the morning. All right. Good night. Good night. Bye. So in between the evening and the morning, something must have happened. Stroke of the right side of the brain. When you have a stroke wherever side affects the other side.
Yeah.
So in my sleep from 7, 8 o'clock tonight until the morning, and I think it happened like 2 or 3 in the morning.
While you're sleeping,
I'm sleeping, I have a stroke. I was going home.
It doesn't wake you up, nothing.
Doesn't wake me up. The nurse came to do rounds, and they discovered it. My family's called. They come, and medicine has helped us as technological advances, but they always have to, rather than keep positive mental attitude, they always have to tell you the worst.
Yeah.
So the way it is, kind of in case something happens. So the attending neurologist comes, my family sitting there, and I haven't said a word yet. They're giving me ice chips. I can't talk. I had a stroke. I'm sitting there.
So are you awake and alert?
But you just in and out. I'm heavily sedated. Okay. They got to me. Family's here. I heard the word stroke, but I don't know what's going on. I'm sitting there. I haven't moved. I haven't said a word yet.
You haven't tried to talk or nothing?
I tried, but I really couldn't. I was dry. I haven't said anything. My arms aren't moving. I'm sitting there, and they're there. My family's there.
So you're not even freaking out yet because you even know what the fuck's going on.
I don't really know what's going on. My family's there, but this is where our love of music comes and saves the goddamn day. Pardon my language. So
you can swear in here, guy.
I'm sitting there. The surgeon comes, the neurologist, the attending one, my family's there, and he looks at my family and he goes, he's never walking. He's never going to use his left hand. He's never going to swallow again.
Fuck.
I haven't said a word yet at that point. I look up the best I can. And with a stroke, a lot of things, it affects your face. You have a droop. The best I can. As we know, I don't have the best eye contact in the world to begin with, let alone a stroke is going to make that worse. I do my best to look at him, slurring my words. You can't bring me down.
Wow. Fuck. That's what you said to him.
That's what I said to him.
Suicidal for the listeners, yeah.
Well, I need to
That's fucking hard, Seth.
So I was like, there you go. There's the insurance policy of listening to bands for all this year. It comes out.
Shout out to Suicidal.
Always there.
Wow. That's what you said to him.
First thing I said. And now I totally jumping all over the place. We knew I would. Man. So I got to go back before the stroke. When the aneurysm, I got to go back to H2O. They get to me when they had to replace the valve. I have one life, one chance.
Only collarbone, yeah.
And the doctor goes, first he goes, I think you have more than one chance, dude.
Wow.
Which I thought was amazing, but here's the kicker. They did not want to ruin the artwork. So they went around it because the tattoo was like.
Who did that tattoo?
That's a good question.
Was it Dan Smith or no?
Yeah, it was Dan Smith.
Okay,
with you.
Dan
yeah.
Smith. Yeah, that's dope. Shout out to Dan Smith.
Yeah, they didn't want to do that.
Respect the art.
So they didn't do that, and then the other, it was crazy. And then there's that, and then you have IVs sticking you for blood at night. I had a. I'm trying to remember where I had it.
Was IV through the PMA?
Yeah. Which I had gotten before, and Liver Dash before I got sick.
LYD, Liver Dash, yeah.
So they had put the IVs went right there, which was pretty crazy.
Wow.
And then after I got everything happened, I went to Mr. Caves. Shout out Caves.
Caves, Lords of Brooklyn.
Lords of Brooklyn made. Howie Abrams will give you a shout. You were working there when I came in. Did You Can't Bring Me Down, and then the bracelet, because you're in the hospital, you have to wear a bracelet that says you're at full risk with the dates. The dates. So
yeah, you got the dates tatted on you.
Exactly.
The bracelet.
I haven't.
Fucking awesome, man.
Yeah. So music has been there, and without that, because when you're in the hospital and after rehab, you think, okay, diet, exercise, medicine, family, friend support, but without the music, I couldn't do it. I couldn't learn to go from being in a wheelchair to walking with a cane to no cane. I had to learn to I'll never run again, but I was walking. So without the music, first of all, listening to music. Second of all I want to do is get out of the hospital and go to a show.
Yeah. How long were you in the hospital for that? So from that moment on, when you woke up, you said You Can't Bring Me Down, that journey right there, how long were you in the hospital for?
At that point, I had only been in 2 weeks. So now, because of the stroke, it ended up being another 2 months.
2 months.
Because I had to learn how to walk. I had to do speech. I had to stabilize.
Do you know how long it took you to talk? Again?
Oh.
Which came first, talking or the walking again?
Talking, because I just told the doctor.
Facts, that's right, my bad.
But talking was not very good. I was doing speech. And, of course, when a speech therapist came by, I probably said a couple of lewd things here and there, being who I am and brain injury. But I learned to do that. And then when I left the hospital, it was a lot of rehab, too. Stroke. I mean, it was speech, physical therapy, occupational therapy.
And then how long were you in a wheelchair for?
Week and a half, 2 weeks. And that was the thing. I said, when I leave the hospital, I am not being wheeled out. I am walking out. And I did. It was with a cane, but it was like, man. I was determined. You have to set your goals.
Totally.
Like the song.
Exactly. So, have you seen that doctor, the one that said you'll never talk and walk again? Or use your left hand?
No, because he was the attending neurologist.
Yeah.
He was just there in an ER, and they're taught to be negative and not
so crazy.
To not be oversell someone's hopes.
Not give you any hope. Yeah.
It's almost like one size fits all, which I don't get. Well, I will tell you something that's interesting. My surgeon that replaced my heart, who I've gotten closer,
so close.
he was listening to The Who and The Clash when he was operating on me, and Elvis Costello. So I was like, that's got to be something.
Yeah, you guys have relationships still, friendship and stuff.
Yeah, I have.
Carried on after that.
They do God's work.
So what do you think it was in you to not give up and start that fight?
I think it was partially friend and family support.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't feel like I felt it. I didn't feel like a sick person. I was just like, no, there's something in me.
It's not the end for me right now. Yeah.
But I had to learn that there's a compromise. Like, okay, I need to be all right. Maybe I won't run, but I'll walk. Or maybe I can't eat this, but I could do that. It was like, okay, whatever it is, I'm going to make the best out of it until I can't.
Yeah.
And that was the attitude. And then it was like, how can I give back? How can I do some things? I was volunteering
Inspire
there.
other people
Exactly.
as well. What was your first concert you saw or show after that?
So that was amazing. When you guys were were doing those Bad Brain shows.
Oh, that's right. That was the first one back.
Yep, I was so looking forward to that. It was Bad Brains, and I think friends were like, we took a road trip because I needed to get out.
That's
I was
right.
home doing therapy, and they gave me something to look forward to.
We did
So
Boston,
you did Boston, New York. I went to.
Fuck it, that was the first one back.
And that was, for me, was like everything. I needed that because listening to music is one thing, but going to a show is normalizing.
Do you remember the last show you went to before that happened to you?
I do remember, actually. It was something, it was Cro-Mags.
Okay.
Actually.
At CB's or somewhere? I don't know.
No, it was one of the Terminal 5 or one of those. Because I remember, because I got a hoodie, and when John Joseph came to visit me, he brought one and was, I remember getting that before.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was like, so that was amazing. And so, yeah, it was those shows. And then the Bad Brains H2O shows. And then this is interesting because this is a good segue to talking about music healing people, not just me. That summer, Metallica had just started their Orion Festival.
Okay.
And they did it in Jersey, in Atlantic City, at a park. And I went to that with Jeremy Holgerson. Shout out Jeremy, suicidal and Bad Brains booking agent.
That's cool.
And I was blown away because I don't know if it was a venue, but it seems something Mike would be behind it anyway, Mike Meir. There was an area, and this is 2012, so it wasn't Total Inclusion World yet, like kind of near where right by the sound booth. It was like a whole area, and it was just for disabled people.
Okay.
In there, I saw wheelchairs, I saw canes, and I was like, oh my God, I'm in heaven.
Yeah.
I saw guys try to be in a pit a little bit who had health issues. I was like, this is the way it should be. This is normalizing.
Yeah, so that's another question I was going to ask you. Like, were you in denial at all that you would be in that wheelchair or not be able to walk ever again? Like, I'm not going to, like, is that a mental thing where it's like, maybe I'll be in the handicap section the rest of my life, or you're like, fuck that, I'm not going to be in that. This is only temporary. I'm going to get out of this situation. And also the way people treat people. Right. You're being treated different now than you were before, right?
Oh, that's a great question because yes, but it's the kind of thing like I'm going to work it to as far as capacity I can until I can't do it anymore. So finally I had to be like, okay, I don't always need a cane.
I'm going to embrace it,
when I need it, but I'm not going to be able to run again. But I can walk again. I can walk races. So
which you've done,
right, which is interesting. But with the heart, the only reason why, even though it would take me 8 hours, the only reason I haven't done full marathons, we're having a heart replacement. They said that's too much strain on the heart. So I do halves.
Yeah.
And we thought the Yankee Stadium race.
I know. We did it with you. Yeah,
we did. Out. That was amazing.
We came out and did the Yankee race with Seth. I don't know what year that was. We all came
Same summer of 2012.
Was that your first race?
That was my first race.
Yeah, we all came out and did it with the Goon. It was awesome.
And you did shows that weekend too.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. So that was it in solidarity, walking Yankee Stadium with everyone doing
awesome,
it.
Dude. Yeah.
And after that, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to run, but I'll walk. I'll be able to walk. And I had to learn I wouldn't do full marathons, but I'll do half marathons. And my partner in crime, New Orleans, Vegas, where else do we do?
Kenny Gabor?
Kenny Gabor. Kenny.
Shout out to Kenny, man. He's the best.
Thank you, Kenny, being behind me. And I know you're going to get through what you're getting through. And I appreciate that we did the races, keeping me in check. We go everywhere, Vegas, New Orleans.
Yeah, I remember that, man.
New York, all of Brooklyn. And it was, okay, you work with what you got.
Yeah, and so and then when you become in that world where you are in the handicap area and you start meeting other people that've been through other traumas, is there a whole community or people that you met through that too?
There totally is, which is unbelievable. The people behind that. Shout out Kyle Laurel. You know who he is if you saw him.
Okay. Just like punk rock, hardcore kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It brings people together. And there's some people who have, as we're getting a certain age, have things happen. There are people their whole life they've had things, whether it's a health issue or
born that way,
cerebral palsy or
yeah.
cancer. And you start to meet people and you're just sympathetic, but it's like at the same time you're still the same person. So
yeah, how was the accident? How was everything that happened? Not accident. How was everything that happened to you changed the way you see the world, or changed you mentally? I know obviously physically there's issues, but as a person in your mind and how you look at the world and how you go through life now.
So there's a silver lining, and there's always the if and but why. So I'm a lot more open-minded and understanding, and probably talk to people, involve people I never would be, and see things at different lens. But at the same time, I have moments or phases where I'm angry, bitter.
I've been with you walking on the streets, and the first couple of times you're like, you get frustrated with people not getting in the way of a cane.
Exactly.
Like
so
just maneuvering through the world.
Right.
Know?
So that makes it hard. And to answer that question, I know we're going to get there. Fast forward a couple years ago, I'm not done. And it's just about that, because after the stroke of aneurysm, I was okay. I can deal physically. I still have my wits. I have my wits, which is fine. My memory's unaffected. I know everything. I just walk slow. My arm's weird. I don't talk exactly the same way, but I can't eat a proper salad. But it's gravy. It's okay. It could be worse. A couple years later, only because of the stuff earlier, I am in the car with my father going like Costco or a Sam's Club or one of those places. In the parking lot, I start to seize. I have a seizure where I can't control my body moving or anything. And a police officer happened to be driving in the parking lot. My dad flagged him down. While in the hospital, I am dealing with that. I pick up a infection, a short-term bacteria infection, memory affecting infection. And now all of a sudden, my memory is... I'm dealing with that. Fuck. Seizures and memory issues. And had I never had the aneurysm, I wouldn't have gotten any of it. So
the seizures happen still?
No, because I'm on seizure med.
Okay.
And my memory with a lot of work has gotten a lot better, but it's still an issue. You know,
like, why? I just made it through all that, and my memory's still intact, and then this happens.
Exactly.
How long after?
That was 7 years later. That was 2019.
So trickling effects of what happened 7 years ago.
Exactly. So, and that's what's hard, because it's like you have one thing.
You make it through that. You're working on that.
Right.
You have another thing to focus on. Then you're like, okay, am I in the clear? And then 7 years later that happens. And now, do you feel like you're not in the clear now? Like anything could happen still from that?
I don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I learned you live life with what you got.
It's great.
I mean, sometimes I'm probably a little too lackadaisical, I'm sure. And when the world is paranoid about COVID, I'm like, I can't live like that, because things happen. You work your way through it.
You've been through a lot, man, to worry about.
So it's like, I just want to live my life. I want to go travel. I want to see music. I want to listen to music. It's like...
Is there some stuff you want to accomplish more in your life now because of that, or prove to yourself?
Yes, because I had started working on it after the aneurysm and stroke, but before the other stuff, and it's diminished. I'm still trying to work on a book about how heavy healing, how listening to, playing and seeing live music, punk, hardcore, metal, helps people deal with disability, injury, and illness.
It's essential.
Because without that, you don't have anything. You need the music. And I'll give a story about the disability. So before the second round of stuff, because I still have my cognitive wits, I had gone back to school and got a degree in social work. After the aneurysm and stroke, I was working with young children. And I was working a kid in particular. He's probably by now 14 or 15, but at the time, he was 8 or 9. I was working in a program with children on the spectrum. Some of them have some violence issues and things like that. So one day, I'm working with him as a Sunday program, and I could tell he's this young man now. At the time, a boy was getting flustered. I can tell he's getting like kids are getting to him, teasing him, starting with him. All of a sudden, in my big ears, I pick up on it. He's humming Metallica Blackened. I could just hear him saying it, and I'm like, and I calm him down. I walk over with him, and I said, Nicky, what happened? He said, these guys are starting me. I'm upset. I said, I hear you're singing to yourself. I think you're singing Metallica Blackened. I said, how'd that come to be? He said, my daddy plays me music, and he said, when you don't feel good and you get angry, listen to sing, make you feel better. And I was like, oh my God.
Jesus, dude. That's beautiful.
So I was like, there's something there.
Of course. I mean, music's essential. I know during all the lockdowns and everything, the world was scared. We didn't know what was going to happen, blah, blah, blah. But they never mentioned music coming back. And for all the musicians who traveled and they did that for many, many years, I feel like music was at the bottom of the totem pole, which is fine. I get it. The whole world was stopped. Everybody was equally stopped doing what they loved and what they could do. But they never said music was essential. And I feel like after coming out of the pandemic, me personally, that music is such a healing thing. And you're living proof of that it's such a powerful thing. It can get you through so much. And the first word you said after stroke was, you can't bring me down. Fucking suicidal. Like the power of music that gets inside your body and it can fix and help so many things. It's really important, man.
And I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I backtrack back to that.
Keep going, back it up.
When I was in Bellevue in the hospital, one night, because hostels are a very weird place,
Yeah, we stayed there one.
You wake up in the middle of the night. There's no time zone.
Communal showers, all that.
Showers. There's new shift in the middle of the night. You hear people moaning. It's crazy. You're woken up. So one night I'm sleeping, trying to sleep, and I think a nurse comes in, a male nurse or they came and checked my blood levels because they get you when you're sleeping. Back to the greens thing, and I'm with all the meds. I'm having weird dreams, and I'm singing to myself, and the tech, the guy, phlebotomist is the proper term, doing the blood. He said he heard what I said. He goes, "No, dude, you're amazing. I think you passed the test." I was singing Fishbone Question of Life, shall I not pass the test, is a lyric. And I was like, and he heard me, and I don't know if he knows Fishbone, but he was like, he heard what I said, and he was like, and I realized I was singing myself in my sleep.
That's amazing. Singing Fishbone.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
Wow, man. Yeah, it's incredible, man. You had such a connection with all types of music growing up. It's just such a big... Did you ever want to play music? Oh, let's talk about Mensch.
Oh.
Yo.
Oh, right.
Seth had this band called Mensch, and he sang in the band. And tell people what the word Mensch means.
In Yiddish, the word Mensch means good guy.
Okay.
And how it came to be was...
That's right.
Being involved in working in music business, New York scenes a little bit. Right after Joey Ramone passed away, when the CBGBs was still around, there was a show they did to celebrate him called Bowery Electric.
Yeah.
Which and they did a Joey Ramone tribute bands, and then the club opened later, and it was at CB's. And rest in peace, Arturo Vega said you should put a band together. And I was like, so I got some guys together, and I was like, all right. And I knew everybody was going to sound like, do standard punk stuff. I was like, and I was thinking about it. I was like, growing up. So I had this idea of a song. I was like, what can we write to go? You had to write a song to go with it and then play originals to begin with. What's up, Stella? So I said, I thought about it. I said, I got an angle. Joey is a Jew. Let's do that. So it was the idea was no brainer to me. I don't want to be a schnook, which a schnook, for people that don't know Yiddishism, is basically like an average guy, like someone doesn't do anything. Actually, Ray Liotta says it at the end of Goodfellas.
Okay.
So I'm sure people are familiar with that line. So I came up with this idea. I don't want to be a schnook fetching a bone. I want to be a rock and roll Jew like Joey Ramone.
Wow.
And we ended up winning because I can't sing. I have presence. It was
cute
fit.
to watch. It was cute watching. I love seeing you play though, man. You're because you're always, you have your own style anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're on stage and shit, Mensch. So they're like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do a band."
I was like, "Let's do a band," because I'm like, we got one song. I want to do something. I have enough relationships. I got some good musicians. And I was like, Mensch is a great word, but not everyone saw the vision, and we changed the name. But I have to say, the band experience, not only winning the CB's contest, we played with H2O a couple times, which was amazing. And our style was kind of all over the place, so I got to play with some of my favorite bands. You guys, we played with Fishbone, which is bucket list stuff.
Totally.
Before, when they were still not at a meteoric rise, we opened up for Clutch, and Mastodon was the tour opener, and we opened local. That was amazing. As I Lay Dying, we played with. It was like,
awesome,
I was like, okay, I got to do this, and ultimately my guys didn't want to do it anymore, and they went on to do other things. But to me, that was a fun time.
What is one of the acting roles you were super proud of and stoked on?
So with the acting, I started half before I got sick. 3 years before, it was full circle having worked in the music business. I had the privilege of working with at the time, an up-and-coming director, a Filipino director, Rick Cordero. What's up, Rick? Rick, at the time, this is when videos was first starting to go online on YouTube and channels, and and digital was still a thing at record labels, or starting to be more of a thing. He got contracted to direct videos for groups.
Yep.
So I got to work with some of my favorite artists. I got to be in Roots videos, Action Bronson when he was first coming up.
That's right.
Q-Tip, and there were memorable roles because Rick was very socially aware and conscious and came up. I got to do the Roots 75 bars, and I got to be a slave master, and that was just like,
I remember it was black and white. I remember that.
That was crazy. And then and then I was someone where another Roots video. It was they kidnapped me and they put me in a van and they torture me.
Fuck.
Like Questlove tortures me, and then I know one of your personal favorites. I got to the slave master was. I got to be a slave master in Nas B.A.N.
That's
Be a
right.
Nigger, which was amazing, and playing that and acting and being that guy. Playing these hateful roles for.
That was when he had the album called N. He changed the word.
Exactly.
Yeah, wow.
And that was awesome.
Wow.
That was really eye-opening because it was full circle. You worked in the industry, and now you're acting, but for the artist because of.
Yeah, and he went to go do some Nike stuff too.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, Rick did a lot.
Is he still in the mix now doing videos?
He is.
He's probably doing movies now or something.
He's doing films. He did some stuff with Spike Lee.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was eye-opening. It was fun being in videos because we grew up watching music videos when you were watching on MTV and BT, Rap City.
The Box.
Exactly.
All that
and
shit.
now you're in it, and it's like, oh, my God.
Is there, so what is your life like now? Like, what have you been working on now? I think you should do a book once for sure. Are you still working with kids and helping people that have been through stuff like you?
I have been, and I started trying to do it again. Unfortunately, when I got sick the second time, I was a little older. The brain injury of the seizure and the memory infection manifests differently. So I was a little older, and it was a little harder to come back with stuff. And it was like, okay, I'm getting a little ageism. It's like, okay, you're great, but we can hire a 22-year-old who speaks multiple languages, who doesn't have any health issues. So I don't blame anyone. So I've lost out a little, and then COVID happened, the world changed, but I'm back in the mix. I'm working locally a little bit, and
what have you been doing for the past couple of years in the lockdown?
Exercising, reading, volunteering in Jersey where I live a little bit.
Yeah. And what's your daily? You have some daily rituals as far as like you just taking walks and stuff?
I'll walk between 25 and 75 miles a week, and the days I don't walk, I'll go to the gym on a bike, a spin bike for a couple hours.
Yeah.
I work with what I got.
Yeah.
And what was cool with that is like on the days I have to have my blood checked, that's when I go on the bike because you can't be walking around town having to hide behind trees going to the bathroom all over the place.
How often do you have to get blood checked?
Every 2 weeks.
Wow.
Which is really odd because now what was healthy, like I was joking, I could eat a whole cow, drink a whole bar, but if I have too much green vegetables,
That's what they're checking in your blood for greens?
they check your INR level, but INR has to do with warfarin. And I'm on warfarin as a drug.
Okay.
It has to do with, they check the levels of INR, but it's called vitamin K. Vitamin K is everything we're taught to eat and we love. Broccoli, spinach, kale. It's weird because it's like I can have a very little bit. Like I can have a drop of like I get a sandwich, I can have the coleslaw and the pickle, but I can't have a lot. But
crazy, man.
It's really weird.
You haven't talked to, I'm sure you talked to John or a bunch of people like ways around that, like even like greens and a vitamin or greens and a fucking, I don't know.
Well, the only problem with that is because I'm on a specific medication because of the valve being replaced. So
and that's for life?
That's for life, which is weird because there are other people, I know friends, I know family who've had or on blood thinners, but because I have the replaced valve, it's strange, but you work with it. So like I know
you've learned to work with what you got and not stress about
exactly.
things you can do.
And for me, it's funny because when I joke, when people say, "Oh, I'm splurging," what does splurge mean? Ice cream sundae or big steak or pizza with all toppings. For me, it's okay. I'm eating greens or I'm doing something like that, and it's all relative. Do
you still eat sugar packs?
No. Equal.
Yo, Seth used to have equal sugar packs and just rip them open and eat all the sugar.
Like a box.
And I got something in my notes too I want to mention too is that a couple things. One time we were flying. So Seth came with us to South America. It was fucking incredible.
Oh, that was fun.
We got there and somebody made like one of those Mexican wrestling masks. It was like H2O mask with epitaph ears, and every night Seth would come out and introduce us with the mask on and no shirt on. It was fucking awesome. It was a beautiful tour. Daniel the Swede just told me he has all the footage on his computer. I want to check it out.
Oh, wow,
so we
really?
should put it out, yeah.
That's funny.
But going there, we talked about melatonin, and Seth said he wanted to take some melatonin for the flight because he wanted to go to sleep for the flight. And I gave him a bag of melatonin, and you're only supposed to take one. And Seth took the whole bag of fucking melatonin.
Maybe that's why I had the aneurysm.
Oh, no. Did you even go to sleep from that? You had a whole bag of fucking melatonin.
Eventually. That was crazy.
I was like, Seth, what did you do? And I was like, he came with the bag back. It was empty. I'm like...
In Japan, I think I ate.
Oh, he came to Japan with us too.
Yep.
That's right.
With MC Hammer and De La.
You came there with the Bad Brains, MC Hammer, De La Soul, Dancehall Crash, Dog.
That was crazy.
Yo, so you've been to Japan with us. You've been to South America with us. Fuck, man. Japan was sick, though.
Yeah, it was.
So fun, man. And it's crazy just like meeting you outside. I was like, oh, this guy is at a punk show, but he works for Loud. He loves hip-hop like me. It was so cool to meet you back then and have, like, that connect in that world. You know, he used to always lace me up with all kinds of fucking, like, promotional tees and fucking posters and stickers. And I remember you had a pair of the Jizzers sneakers at your house or something. You got a bunch of plaques. You worked the Pink record?
I worked the first Pink record because we got hired independently to do the promotions, and I had a boss that had left Loud to work at her label, Relativity. Or no, LaFace in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
I knew you got a plaque from Pink as well.
Yep.
I think Big Pun, Mobb Deep.
I worked Big Pun, Mobb Deep, Wu-Tang Forever. And my favorite, props again, one of the greatest, for those of you who love conscious music, not just hip-hop, but conscious, Dead Prez, the greatest. Got them opening up for Fishbone.
Yeah, I've been in touch with Sticks. I'm hoping to have him on the podcast.
Oh, he would be great.
Here, man.
He would be great. I'm hoping, I put it out there a little bit. I'm trying to mention something to Jeremy. They should be touring with Suicidal. I'll never forget it. Tramps holding up for Fishbone. Take out Dollars on Fire. And 2 years ago, for hip-hop heads, I'm sure everybody knows this, right before COVID, Loud did a reunion show at Radio City Music Hall. Everyone that was on the label years ago, Pun's obviously not there, but there was a tribute with Fat Joe. Members of Wu-Tang, Dead Prez, everyone there. And Dead Prez did like a whole march. You felt like almost like Black Panthers marching down the stage. It was surreal.
It's fucking awesome. Did you just watch Black Star? They just performed on TV too as well.
I missed it, but I will.
So how do you keep the PMA still after all this?
And that's a great question because I have my moments. I get into with people in the way walking. I find that...
Have you ever hit anybody with your cane?
Yes.
Okay.
Not...
Proud of it.
I'm not proud of it, but I want to say one thing about that. That was a great question.
It's not on. We're just hanging out. Hang out with us. Yeah.
It's a great question about that.
Yeah.
So I love music. Obviously, we know this. We talked about it. People of our certain age, as you get older, things are starting to happen. So people are more aware. I went to a show the summer before the lockdown, right after the infection stuff. And it was my cousin is an up-and-coming booking agent. Shout out Jesse Robbins. And he had a group. It was, I think it was a show, Fontaine's DC, or some of those newer English bands that sound like old school groups.
Yeah.
And there was a young man, I'd say 20s, mid to late 20s, and he wouldn't get out of my way. And I couldn't get out of the way. This is right after the infection, seizures. It was my first show, summer 2019. And I had lost it because he wouldn't get out of my way, and he played chicken with me. Like, he got in my face, and I was like, and I shoved him, and security grabbed me, and over there where that is in Greenpoint, that venue, they have a holding cell, a precinct nearby, and they got the cops, and
what?
They brought me in there, and I had to sit in. Finally, they let me go.
The cops brought you to put you in a precinct for pushing somebody to the show.
Exactly. A security grabbed me, and the cops came by. And then...
You didn't hit it with the cane? It was just a push?
It was a push. I didn't have the cane. I should have brought it. That's why I bring it. Hopefully people see. And they brought me there, and then I had a ticket, and I had to go court date. And being a Jew, of course, I have an in-law that's a defense attorney, because that's how we roll. So... The ticket got expunged, and I didn't have to go to court.
How much was the ticket?
It was a couple $100, but I had to go to court, and they let it go. Like, it wasn't the money; it was that there being something to do with it. And my brother's brother-in-law got it disqualified, pretty much. And I went, so I was like,
Did they have you in handcuffs? They brought you over there?
Yeah, I was sitting there with like guys that who knew what they were doing, like, and it's right by the projects in Greenpoint. Like, I don't know what it was for, but
Were you tripping when they came to get you in the show? Were you like, what the hell?
I kind of went with it. I was like, dude, I didn't do anything. I'm like, you should get this kid. He antagonized it, but I didn't fight it. I was kind of out of it. But that's why that doesn't ever happen at stuff of a certain age. That's kind of why I don't go to younger stuff anymore, because it's kind of a different world.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see that punk hardcore. You don't see it in metal shows.
No.
I go to everything. That's my thing. Right now, you got to just live.
Yeah. I think it's amazing. Well, Chappelle just came in by having a microphone, but after he had a stroke and his aneurysm and all that shit, like, the doctor came in and said he's never going to speak again or walk again or use his left hand. And the first thing he said to the doctor was, say it again, Seth. With
a drooping voice, yeah. You can bring me down.
He said the suicidal lyrics to him, man.
Exactly. I was ready to skeg in a wheelchair.
So the PMA is a struggle for you, obviously, now, every day. But also, you've been through a lot of shit, too. You know what I mean? Are you still in Jersey, too?
I'm in Jersey, which is cool.
Do you want to be there forever?
Definitely not.
Would you like to move to New Orleans?
That would be ideal around here.
Because you've already envisioned your life.
Exactly.
You've already lived a life. According to you, you feel like you had another life in New Orleans.
Right.
Like you've already lived there already.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And Jake lives there now.
Yeah, I know, at the moment.
So you have a friend in there.
I thought about that, but you never know where he's going, you're globetrotter.
You don't. But New Orleans, that was interesting. You always talked about that. Also, you did the walking tours of the Jewish gangster stuff in New York.
Exactly. New York's changed. You can't.
How those tours go? The Jewish tours.
They went well, but they're not like the city's changed since COVID. Of course, companies, but they were good.
So you would take people to all the spots where the Jewish gangsters did their
Jewish, Italian, and Irish. It was like just how
all
downtown,
gangster shit.
Yeah, gangster history, and I would tie everything in. If I'm going down the Bowery, I'm going to talk about CBs too. Like you tie it all in.
Yeah.
New York has shifted.
It's a different place, right? Do you like going there?
When I go and I live a 10-minute boat ride. I live on the Hudson, on the Jersey side.
Yeah.
I'm close enough but far enough away. I'll go in and I'll try to get everything done in once. Like, say I'm going to a show. I'll go in and see a show, but I'll go in early to do other things.
Yeah. No waste your time there.
Right. It's a little to minimize.
It's a younger city. I went to
Exactly.
Max. It's a very young vibe, man.
Yeah, it's a little
Which
weird.
is fine. The city's got to change and stuff, you know?
It's cyclical always, but it's young, but it's not always people from there.
Do you feel like you're like you're a stranger, that you're just out of towner when you feel like it's not your city anymore?
Sometimes, because like sometimes things have shifted, places close. It's strange.
Do you miss your spot where you lived in New York?
I do.
It was a fun spot, man.
Tudor City, I do.
Rusty lived in the same building with Debbie in the same building as Seth. Yeah.
And at one point, I had Adam Blake living with me.
That's right.
And your old tech, who's probably outside, Oscar, all living with me in a one-bedroom.
And we stayed there too. We all slept on your floors,
that.
man. It was so tight, and it was like one bedroom. You'd be cooking in the kitchen, like right next to the bed, and you'd pull out mattress.
Look out the window and look at United Nations.
Fuck.
Yeah, it was cool. Different time.
Yeah. Are you happy in your life you're at now? In a good place?
I have my moments. I am, but I'm not done.
Yeah.
I had to pivot and reshift a couple times. I have to do it again now.
Yeah.
But it's...
You're here for a reason.
Exactly. That's the way I look at it.
So your goal is to inspire and help others who've been through the
Exactly.
same thing you've been through.
Or different things. And using music is the key. Because if you... Like I said earlier when we began, when you think of music and healing, I used to at least think of like a scene in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson, and it's everyone take your meds, and it's like elevator music playing.
Yeah.
And punk, hardcore, metal forever got bad vibes or stigma, no pun intended, attached to it. Yes. To like, it is what it is. It's negative to an extent, but as we get older, like, and Adam Blake said this, it's like, it's the music of your formative youth, his comfort food when he was dealing with his health issue.
Exactly.
His P&H.
P&H, yeah.
It was the bands he grew up listening to that are helping him now. And the way I look at it, it's like, if you spend your life listening, playing, seeing music, it's an insurance policy because it's stored in you. If something happens, you're going to defer to it to help you get through it.
That's a good point.
And people are getting older, and things are happening to us, so the music of our youth. So I've been working on it bit by bit with a book about that.
I think you should do a book for sure.
And people I've spoken to, everyone's been really, really different. Not to jump ahead and too much of a trailer, but I'll give an example. So Adam Blake, with dealing with his blood issues, P&H, his story is different than I had the privilege a few years ago to speak with, an interview before I got sick the second time with the brain injury. I started on the book after a stroke aneurysm.
Yeah.
I had the privilege to talk to the mighty Chuck Billy, a Testament.
Oh, wow.
This is why I'm out to you, Chuck.
I know you're a Testament fan. That's cool.
And the thing about that I thought was really amazing because his Native American heritage, he beat cancer through going to sweat lodges and Native American stuff.
Wow.
So everyone has a different story.
Different journey, I mean, how they made it through, right?
And without that, without the music, that's the missing thing. You could take all the medicine, do all the therapy, exercise, everything, but if you don't have that driving force.
That's a great point. I remember Adam ended up in the hospital that you were in.
Yeah, Bellevue.
Bellevue, yeah, same thing.
He was living with me when it really got him bad.
Yeah. All those turning yellow and pissing blood, all that stuff he's been through. Now he's on a good course right now.
Yeah.
Getting the right treatment he needs, you know what I mean? Because before he talks about how he ran away from it, drinking and all that stuff. You know what I mean? It was scary.
Yeah, it's hard when something happens.
Yeah. Do you drink more now since it happened?
I do, which is not good because...
Like I do, matter of fact.
I do, which isn't good, but I stopped drinking at home, which is a good thing. Like I'll go out. I learned you have to celebrate life and not deprive because life is short. You never know when something's going to happen. But do I drink more frequently than I did before getting sick? Yes. But like it's because, I can't eat a salad. I can't do this. I can't do that. But I can have, like if I want to have a drink.
Of choice?
It depends. If I'm around my Jewish brethren, it'll be vodka. If not, it'll be maybe a whiskey or rye bourbon. I like a good IPA beer here or there.
Do you go to the bars and shit?
Yeah, I'll go sometimes. But really, when I go to a bar, it's just because I want to listen to music on the jukebox and I'll have a couple of drinks. It's really, that's my reason.
So you weren't a big drinker before that. You were super healthy, runner, all that shit, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird like that.
Yeah. I think you earned a couple beers.
I think I did.
Rockets here and there.
I'm a little different than I was before if I have it, but
What do you mean?
it affects me a little differently.
Are you a wild drinker?
No, I'm not wild, but it will hit me
Yeah.
a little slower.
Oh, so it takes a while for you to get a little buzz. What about weed? You don't do weed or edibles or anything?
Well, that's a great question. Before it became legal in Jersey, I was going to a dispensary getting medical marijuana. When I had the seizures and the brain infection, that helped amplify that. Not maybe just be the primary cause. It was all residual from the stroke, but it helped push it a little bit. So I can't really do that. Like there were times like I had a friend that lived near me that since moved to Florida. Jeff Greenfield, what's up? You make a great. Sorry to digress. This guy, I'll show the picture later. All of you are the same cohort of us have all seen one of the greatest comedies ever, Caddyshack. He was Al Chervik for Halloween with a color suit. When he was living in Jersey, he would make brownies, great weed infused brownies. Mm-hmm. So like that stuff I would have, or the brownies aren't such a big thing, but when I was getting the edibles from the dispensary, that definitely pushed it. So
yeah,
I can't as much because the brain matter is just different.
Yeah. So you just take your pills every day and live your life.
Oh, yeah.
You don't trip on any kind of things popping up here and there.
Exactly. I want to live and do things like the Ramon song. You learn.
I want to live.
And you guys did that.
Oh, yeah.
You cover that. You gotta live your life because you never know. Life is short and precious. So
yeah, everything you went through to get where you're at now at 45 years old, like all the obstacles and getting through it and learning how to walk and talk and all that stuff. You feel like you're happy in the place you're on now as far as how good you can walk, how good you can move your arms, everything.
I've come to accept it. I mean, I'm always trying to do more.
Yeah, you worked hard though,
right?
Man. Mentally and physically.
Exactly. I've learned to accept it. My attitude, my PMA is so much better. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm always happy and whistling Dixie.
Nobody's not. But yeah.
I've learned to make the best out of situations. You have to.
Yeah.
You know, that's the biggest thing because you never know, and you have to live because you never know when things happen.
You have any regrets in your life?
I have some, but I'm pretty good. But I feel like I should have been a DJ instead of just messing around working in the music business.
Been a DJ?
Yeah.
Like with somebody rhyming?
No, like radio.
Okay, radio.
Like a personality or something.
Oh, wow.
With a love of music.
Yeah. Instead
of wasting time working at labels and promotions, and now looking back now at how things have shifted and changed, but
yeah.
But not really. Besides that, no. Because you just got to go because you never know. Things are short.
Yeah. What about top 5 favorite rappers, MCs? You worked with all the ones you love, though. Dead Prez, like his favorite, though. He worked with the deeper.
Put them up there. I wouldn't put them in top 5 MCs. I put them in my list of groups.
Did you ever work with Biggie?
Yeah, a little bit, because it was right when he got killed. I was still kind of young. I was still working a little bit the label stuff in the beginning.
Wow.
Like working the record. Like promoting it because one of the companies I
was
working with.
Life After Death you worked with?
Yep.
Wow.
Like,
Did you do shit with Death Row too or no?
Yes, because I don't know. I worked Ice Cube, so I didn't do Death Row.
That's right. You worked the Ice Cube record.
In priority. I would say top 5 MCs, I would put, I won't say order, I just put them in on that list. I can't really put, I'd say Karis 1.
Yes.
Rakim.
Yes.
I do Pun because his lyrical things that he did. Did I say Guru yet?
No.
I'd say Guru. Is that
damn? Fun? That's a good one, man. Is that only 4 though? It might be 4 now.
And then I'd put I'm a sucker for Wu. Haven't worked with them. I'd put just a brainchild MC of the lot, not the greatest MC of the whole contingent, but it's his. He's just the mastermind behind it all. Riz has got to be in there because he's the architect.
Yeah.
To say, oh, you're going to do this. We're going to do this. You're good at this. You're good at that. He was
Did you work those solo records? You worked the Old Dirty Bastard record and worked
Our
the
Old Dirty. I worked Raekwon. I worked
Ghost.
This Is Loud. I worked Bobby Digital.
Damn.
Thing. Oh, Ghost. I worked Supreme Clientele.
Jesus
Ghost is pretty crazy. And I was in Ghost videos later.
Which videos?
Years later, I forgot.
He was in the Roots video getting like kidnapped in one Roots video. Another one, he was a slave owner in another one too.
And I have to say, back to the architect thing, Questlove, just being a genius and foreseeing where hip-hop is going on a global level and just being a music lover. No one knows music like he does.
Massive Prince fan too.
Yep.
He got a lot of knowledge too.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. That would be like just the music director anywhere. He would be a great consultant on a hardcore record.
I feel like you have such an important part of the hip-hop history, especially in New York with Law Records and the Goon Rain street team. Like, your story's never been told like this before because you were always in the background. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had Dante on here. I had a great time with him. But you were such a big part of the New York, all those stickers and posters people saw all around Manhattan, the Wu-Tang Forever, everything, man. Big Pun. That was you, man. I didn't know he's the one who brought Sick of It All Mobb Deep together till today. He made the whole thing happen. And he got Sick of It All, do the remix of Survival of the Fittest of Mobb Deep. He made the whole connection happen. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
you're a big part of that shit, Seth.
I forgot sometimes.
And the blueprint to like street teams.
Exactly.
Because then you get hired after that.
Yep. Big time.
It's fucking crazy. And you worked Eminem's first record?
I did. That was fun. Brooklyn, Vermont.
Fuck. And you're on tour with Alcoholics and fucking 50
on tour
Cent.
Eminem too. Yeah, 50 Cent, Eminem, Anger Management.
Damn, man. I want to give you, I'm giving you your flowers. That's what they say. Like in the hip hop where you did a lot as far as spreading the word and bringing hip hop to skate shops, snowboard shops, punk rock shows, like handing out all the hip hop stuff at not hip hop shows. You were the first one doing that with the Goon.
That's
right?
True. Because to me, that's what I liked. I liked it all. And I knew there was so many other kids. Like, who's buying it?
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. So I appreciate you for that, meeting you back then.
Yeah, likewise.
And you traveling with us and all that, man,
yeah,
your journey.
Fun.
And I'm happy you're alive here to even talk about your story. And I feel like your
I
story
that.
can inspire others because you never gave up on yourself ever.
You can't.
Why do you think?
Chef?
Why do you think you stayed so? How do you think you're so strong after everything you've been through?
I always say you're only as good enough with who you're flanked by. So, or who you're around. So friends, family. When you surround yourself with positive people and you're around positive things, it's going to be reflected. But really, the music.
Yeah, the music really saved you, man.
Having it to listen to when you're doing things and something happens, in my case, being in a hospital.
Yeah.
A step of the way or looking forward, I'm going to go see this show when I get out, like that sort of thing. It's the music. It's the things in there.
Motivation, inspiration.
Exactly. That's the biggest part.
Well, I think you should do a book, man.
Thanks.
And cover your whole journey of all this stuff, man.
Me, and then every chapter of someone else who's gone through something.
No, I love that too.
From kids who have disabilities, who are listening to stuff, to people who are dealing with issues in groups.
And we can't forget you and my guest host at some of the schools we did.
I forgot about it.
You came out and spoke at the schools with me.
That was fun.
You opened up for me at the schools.
That was fun.
You told your story.
That was
awesome.
right after, too. That was very
man.
therapeutic.
That was scary. I forgot we did that fucking New York. We did Yankee Stadium marathon with him. We all flew out. Me, Adam.
That was fun.
We walked the marathon with him at Yankee Stadium. It was beautiful, man.
Yeah, my family did
it. We had Goon shirts.
Yeah, Team Goon. My heart surgeon did it. That was unbelievable.
Yeah. Fuck, I guess the Goon, me and Rappaport always say the word Goon. Where we always talk about you, Goon.
Right.
We met you, Goon. And then we ended up naming this certain part of Running Cane, the Goon Trail. So
yeah, we did it.
So maybe it's fucking named after you. I never even thought about that.
Maybe, because I did
He's not the original Goon.
I don't know. The reason there's a lot of people, when you think of Goon is a negative connotation, but I embrace it. One time when I was still interning at Loud, a guy I worked with, like, they had to do something, he's like, have the Goons do it. Have that Goon do it. And I was like, okay, what does RAIN mean? Rule. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start my side company. Goon Rain, Goon Rule. That was all. It was like, that was all it came from.
There's hip hop group too, Snow Goons or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Underground.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a positive word, but
but you flipped it.
Right.
You made it something like that.
And like Goonies or the Rejects, and they were proud of it, so.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here, Seth.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
It's really fucking good, man. I'm glad we did this, and I don't know what to expect, what you want to talk about, but it's definitely going to be inspiring for the listeners, people that have gone through a lot of crazy life-changing things that you have, and stayed focused and made it through. And you proved to that doctor that you did speak and use your body and walking and your left hand and all that shit. Wherever he is, if he's listening. Man,
exactly.
You were wrong, buddy.
Dr. D, thanks.
Yeah, that guy's came out to shows. I met that guy, yeah. And then people just find you on the Instagram just under your name.
Seth Goon Abrams.
You have a website or anything?
Not in the moment.
You should get a website.
Yeah, I got to.
You should have your stories on there.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
And put a book out.
Yeah, I'm working on that. Come on, Howie. I need your help.
Oh, Howie Abrams is going to do it?
Yeah, he's been
shout out to Howie Abrams, man. If you listen, Howie, you're the one that can make this happen for Seth. But thank you for all you did with hip-hop and everything, man, and us meeting each other at a hardcore show. Yeah, that was
great.
It's because you thought outside the box and started promoting hip-hop at hardcore shows.
Exactly.
We met each other.
Oh, that's true.
And I was like, dude, can I get one of those Wu-Tang cardboard
poster
cutouts?
Boards.
And what if he got me one, too?
And I brought it to your old place at Fifth Street, and Moon said, you can't bring that in here. It ruins my decor.
You ruined my 1950s decor. Did you give me that? I had a huge Snoop Dogg cutout, too. That must be from you, too, man.
Yep.
Fuck. You used to give me all the dope shit, the Wu-Tang stuff. I still have all the stickers you gave me, the original Mobb Deep, Wu-Tang.
That was fun.
I know all the Wu-Tang's listening, so thanks for listening to Wu-Tang. And you made Seth really promoted you guys. Yeah. Wu-Tang forever. Well, thanks for being here, Goon.
My pleasure.
Abrams.
Thank you. Yep.
Seth Abrams, yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Peace.
I hope someone learned something.
They will.
And those of you who are going through an injury, illness, disability, keep fighting the fight and find the little things every day, even if it's listen to one song or going for a walk or the one thing you eat. Keep fighting it. All the years of loving what you love is your insurance policy. Cashing on it now.
I love that, man. Love you, brother.
Love you. Thanks, everyone.
Peace. I always ask my guests if they have any regrets. I personally don't have any regrets. Even when it comes to my tattoos, I have the silliest tattoos. Even my ET on my leg, it's still a childhood memory for me, and I love it. I've had tattoos on top of tattoos strictly because I wanted more tattoos. I started getting tattoos when I was 18. I'm 52 now, and I can't stop. I've had laser treatment before on something on my arm. It's 4 tattoos on top of each other. And that experience at that place was pretty fast. It was pretty cold. It was in and out, swiped the credit card. Don't really tell me much. Didn't give me much details or anything was going to happen. So I never went back. So as of most recently, I'm so lucky enough to have had 2 sessions at Removery Tattoo Removal. My tattoo on my arm that looks like a big black blob is now super light. I've had 2 sessions. I have a long road ahead of me. None of this stuff happens overnight. You cannot take a tattoo up in one sitting. You have to be patient. And it's painful. They ice you up. It's super fast. To me, it felt like a bunch of rubber bands. But what's more painful than that is looking at something on your body that you think you're stuck with for the rest of your life. That sucks. But now for me, I'm really happy I started this journey. I'm slowly going to get this tattoo removed. I never thought in a million years I have any kind of real estate on my arm. I don't even know what I want, but it's exciting. I'm so honored to announce that One Life, One Chance podcast is now with Removery. I have a code. Use TobyH20 and get $100 off your first session. Call 866-934-4570 or go to Removery.com. One of the most experienced tattoo removal companies in the world. Over 600,000 removal treatments done. 100 locations. US, Canada, and Australia. State-of-the-art peak-away laser technology. Cryotechnology to reduce any discomfort. This is so exciting for me because all I do in these podcasts is talk about tattoos. From day one, if you've been listening to this podcast, we talk about tattoos, talk about getting removed, talk about getting covered up. So this is such a perfect fit for me. Once again, go to Removery.com or call 866-934-4570. Use my code TobyH20 and get $100 off. These guys are located everywhere. Try it out.